Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Taylor Capera, and tonight we're at Evans Mills Raceway Park, and we're getting up to speed with Kreig Heroth. Kreig, how are you doing tonight?
Very good. How are you?
Kreig came by real close to Albany to be here with us tonight, so we appreciate that. How far from Albany?
We're about 40 minutes west of Albany, so it's just under 3 hours to get up there.
Yeah, so it's quite a haul every week. And I understand you've been coming here. You were telling me about the last 6 races. You've been coming up to Evans Mills and plan to run a full season with us next year?
Yeah, so we came up the last 6 shows last year. I met Ron Blair and his family, and I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to run his 6 car up at Evans Mills for the last part of the year. And, we're going through it and planning on racing when we can with it next year, starting off the year strong and seeing where we go from there.
Awesome. Going to put any of your own touches on it this off season?
Oh, absolutely. Cool. We've been around the sport for a long time, and myself and my family, we really enjoy the time in the shop as well, and that's an important part. So I think that
that's definitely a plus.
We really want to make sure that we kind of put our own touch on it, and then we'll send it back up to Governor with Ron and have fun, have a lot of fun this year.
Awesome. So how long have you been racing?
I've been racing since I was 7, so I'm 25 years or so.
Started with go-karts, I would imagine.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure
Moved
did.
up to where were you after that?
So we ran go-karts for a while, 5 or 6, 7 years when I started out, and then and we started traveling around with the go-karts and racing all over the Northeast. And then we went to a dwarf car at Brewerton Speedway and ran that, traveling around with the ESDCA for a few years. And then I really liked the pavement. We had a really close family friend that raced at Oswego, so we started to look for a pavement option, and we went with the Couple 8 series. So that's a traveling series, or it was a traveling series, where you'd race throughout the Northeast and in Canada, and you'd get a lot of different experience at a lot of different tracks and a lot of different configurations. So that was that was the pro about that series, and I really value my time there. And then we went to Oswego and got some opportunity in a small block super modified, where I was there for 10 years, and have done a little bit of sportsman modified racing throughout that time, and a little bit of big block super modified racing throughout that time. But now I find myself in our family-owned tour car, tour modified, and here at Evans Mills.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, not only if you have family, but the time factor with racing from dirt to asphalt. I know how many hours it takes getting a dirt car ready each and every week. So the time factor getting an asphalt car, I'm sure as competitive as you are, you spend a lot of time out there. But the maintenance portion of it's probably not as much.
Maintenance is probably not as much. I probably overthink everything we do. We spend a lot of time in the shop, and if there's not much maintenance performed, we're always looking for some more tenths. I mean, it's just always about the little stuff. So as you know, in racing, every little bit helps. So we're very meticulous, and we like to go through everything and make sure that we are on track to be just a little quicker than we were the last week.
Absolutely. Now, how did you pick up the steering wheel? It doesn't just happen, so it had to be somebody in the family, a cousin, a father.
Yeah. So my grandfather on my mom's side worked at the Fonda Speedway. He was an official there for years and years, and as well as Utica Rome and Langhorne, Pennsylvania. And so my parents met at the races at Fonda, and I grew up going to Fonda Speedway every Saturday night. And I just found myself around 7 years old. My uncle at the time had a go-kart, and he had also just had a daughter, and his wife didn't want him to race anymore, so they offered the kart to me, and that was it from there. So we've been at it ever since, and like you say, it's a family affair, and got a lot of support in that corner. So
that's great. So obviously a wife at home, and did I hear you say you had a daughter?
No, a son, a 6-year-old son. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So trying to keep the wheel out of his hand, I'm sure, right?
Well, it's one of those things that I've said since he was born, that I'm not going to force him into it. Right. And ever since, he's been going to the races a lot, especially this past year at Evans Mills. He went every time that I raced and sat in the stands and was really excited to come every week. And he got a chance to try a quarter midget out a couple of years ago.
Cool.
When he was 4. And now I think, we didn't want to get him one then, but we're going to start to move that way, in that direction. We have a car, and he's going to start to practice this year and see what happens.
That's awesome. Well, besides trying to keep him out of a race car, what's your hopes for 2020?
Well, I hope to stay consistent. I hope to, just like every other year that I've raced, I hope to make every lap and continue to gain the respect of all my competitors. So we have a focus on our tour type modified, and we don't really know what shows we're going to hit with that, but it's going to be some open shows in New England, maybe with the Tri-Trek Series or some of the open shows at Stafford Motor Speedway as we did last year, and also to come up to Evans Mills and have a lot of fun with that.
Well, that'd be great. When you're not racing, obviously it takes up a lot of your time. I'm sure in the shop you spend hours a week out there. What do you try to do for fun?
For fun, go to races.
Yeah.
I mean, work on race cars. Honestly, we have a family boat that we use here and there in the summertime. But for the most part, honestly, if I'm at a racetrack, I'm a happy guy. So I actually help some other teams throughout the winter here on a TQ that I work on in indoors, and I also am part of a Whelen Modified team. So
that's awesome.
It's one of those things where it's the fun for us is at the racetrack and in the shop.
Who do you help on the TQ?
Right now on the TQ, Timmy Salamito.
Oh, awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
very good.
We just went down to Atlantic City. We had some fun down there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it because of what happened in Allentown. But.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you talk about, as long as you've been doing this, you must have some career highlights. We don't try to talk about the ones that we don't want to talk about, but there's some that always stand out. Can you tell us about some career highlights that you might have?
Sure.
That stick out?
We've been very fortunate. I've been very fortunate to have support behind me and to have had some success at every level that I've been at. The ones that stand out to me, my Cup Light victory at the Race Champions in 2005, my Rookie of the Year honors at Oswego in both a small block super modified in 2007 and in a big block super modified in 2015, and as well as my track championship at Oswego Speedway in 2012. So that's
awesome.
those are the ones that always stick out to me as the most important things that have happened.
We remember the career highlights and we remember the ones that got away. That's just what us
Yeah,
racers
that's
think
for
of.
sure. There's a few of those.
If you wanted to give any advice to a young kid out there looking to get into the sport, what could you say to them?
I would say if you can get to a racetrack and walk around the pits at the end of the night, or come in the pits during the night, and just start talking to teams. And I can speak from experience. The best way that you will learn about if it's right for you, or learn about more about racing in general, just offer your help. Just come in the pits and offer to clean the car, offer to help with maintenance throughout the week if you can, or just offer to come to the racetrack and do anything from clean a helmet to measure the air pressure on the tire. Anything's going to help, and everything just accumulates on that. I think once you get involved and you see what it's really all about, then you may have that urge to go a little further.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of great people in the sport that people don't even they don't even realize there's a whole nother level of people out there that they're friends and family and it's another friends and family. You have your normal friends and family, you have your racing friends and family, and I can say firsthand with the business that I'm in, the car business, I bet we sell 40% of our clientele is racers. And
sure.
That's very important to us, so we try to give back as a whole to the racing community, and everyone steps up when they need to, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
First year racing at Evans Mills last year, looking to go back this year. What do you really like about Evans Mills?
Honestly, what really attracted us to Evans Mills after I got the initial time because I went race by race with Ron and his family in the 6 car last year. The first time we went up there, it was just a one-off race, and the thing that attracted me the most was seeing the pride that's taken just in the first year that the Gill family has had the track, and just trying to promote and trying to make the racer number one and the most important thing there. It was really evident, and it was a lot what had to do with us coming back and trying to make a deal for this year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. With the new digital sign out front, all the new concrete work they did, the facility itself stands out, and the track alone, they're making it really racy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It makes it fun. Okay, I see you brought some members of your pit crew here tonight with
I did.
Awesome. So I'm sure you have to thank them and some sponsors you'd like to thank.
Yep, absolutely. So Dan Kretz sitting right here. He's been in the shop with me all winter long, and as well as my father, Dwayne Heroth. My mother will never miss a race, Carol Heroth, my wife Rachel, my son Harlan. And then what's really kind of been cool about up here is that I feel like we've had that support of people traveling the distance. Even though we are 2.5 hours away, I've had support every week, and we've had 5 or 6 guys in the pits. So Devin Gee, Patrick Feeney, Cody Blue, Jim Shefsick, Chuck Christophe, Zach Mahoney, they're guys that they might not be able to come every week, but they come every chance that they absolutely can. And along with Ronald Blair and his community of people that he brings, with Tony, Anthony Minecraft, and of course Jay, who we lost in this past off season. But I can't thank them enough, as well as Ron's support and my support, New Vines, Napa. They've been a lot of help throughout the last year, as well as Northern Tier Contracting and Trip Fuels as well. So.
Well, they say you're only as good as the people behind you, so it's very important to have good people back.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing really anything that we're doing without that support. So.
Awesome. Well, Kreig, I want to thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for taking the trip all the way here. I know it was a travel. I'm Taylor Capura, and tonight you're now up to speed with Kreig Heroth.